Okay, we'll be talking about polynomials. So let's first estimate or evaluate as the problem says, which you probably are already familiar with. When it says evaluate, we are going to plug in the numbers into the expressions. So what expressions are, it's something without equal sign. So it is technically a mathematical sentence without an equal sign. Expressions can be either monomial, binomial, trinomial, and more than 4, and including monomial, we call them polynomial. So what polynomials are, it's something with variables that has a constant and a natural number as an exponent. So for example, x squared, y to the power of 3, z to the power of 1, these are all polynomials, where I can also write it as x squared plus 3x to the power of 3 plus x plus 5, then this is also a polynomial. So let's first start it with evaluating. So you evaluate number 1, x squared plus z, when x is equal to -1 and z is equal to 2, as the problem says. Then x squared means x times x, so it's -1 times -1, which you can think about it as -1 squared, plus z, which is +2. -1 times -1 gives you +1, plus 2 gives you 3, which I think now you can try the rest 1 through 6. So I want you to pause this video and try the rest. I will give you the answers a little later. Now, this part, it just becomes a little bit more complicated, but it is still the same thing. So let's try number 10 together. So number 10 gave you n squared plus 5n minus 6 when n is equal to -9. And we do not need any other numbers like m or p because our expression or polynomial only has n in it. So it is -9 squared plus 5 times -9 minus 6. In this case, this parenthesis is very, very important because without the parenthesis, you may seem like -9 squared plus 5 minus 9 minus 6, which is incorrect because 5 and n are being multiplied. So if you evaluate it, you get positive 81 minus 45 minus 6, which is 81 minus 51, that is positive 30 as the answer. Now moving on to number 3. Solving using the given polynomial. So you're given a polynomial like that. So the reason why this is a polynomial is because n squared 2 is a natural number and n power of 1 is also a natural number. You can have the numbers in front, which we call them constants. So 1/2 plus n 1/2 n squared minus 3/2 n, that 1/2 and 3/2 are both called constants. And more likely, they are called coefficients. So coefficients are the numbers that is being multiplied by the variables. So it says it has 24 sides and n is a number of sides. So you plug in 24 into lowercase n, then you get the answer. Now let's talk about these parts together. So I am erasing unnecessary stuff right here. (36) ABC. I see 1, 2, 3 being multiplied, so it's 3 variable. But I do not see any plus or minus. When there is no plus or minus, we consider it as one term. So this whole thing is one term with 3 variables. So I consider it as 3 variable gives you cubic. It's a cubic of something, and monomial because it's one term. Monomial. So answer for this one will be monomial. Now there's a minus sign for 16, so it's going to be 2 terms, so binomial. 17 I see 1, 2 with the plus sign, so binomial. Number 3, 1, 2, 3. So there are 2 plus signs separating 3 terms, so it's going to be trinomial. This is monomial, this is binomial. Now adding and subtracting polynomials, so we have something called like terms. So x and y are not like each other, but x and 2x are like each other. X plus y doesn't give you xy, but x plus 2x always gives you 3x. So when there is a variable, the same variable, we call them like terms, and the condition is actually x being factored out, 1 plus 2. So this 1 is from that x, and this 2 is from that 2x, and x is being factored. In order to check this calculation, you distribute back your x, then you're going to get x plus 2x, which is equal to that. So x plus 2x is equal to 3x. So you can apply this concept, adding like terms, to number 1 through 11, and this is very simple. So I want you to pause the video again and try solving all the way up to actually 13. So after you try all the way up to 13, now this is the last part of the video, multiplying a polynomial by a monomial. So 4x times 3x minus 5 is equal to, if you distribute it, it's 4x times 3x minus 4x times 5, which is 12x times x minus 4 times x times 5, 12x squared minus 20x, and this is the answer. So when x is being multiplied by another x, you get x squared. Now let's try moving on to number 4. 3xy is being distributed to 2xy and 5. So if you distribute that, you get 3xy times 2xy plus 3xy times 5, which gives you 6x squared y squared plus 15xy. Then now let's try number 11. You're finding the shaded region, area of the shaded region. Remember, this is a trapezoid, and trapezoid has an area that is equal to base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2. So base 1 is 3x, and base 2 is 8y, and you multiply this by the height, which is 4y, and you divide this by 2. So let's simplify this first to make 2y. So it's 3x plus 8y being multiplied by 2y. So you can distribute 2y into here and there. That gives you 6xy plus 20, no, not 20, 16y squared as the answer. This is the last part of the section. You're finding the greatest common factor, and you are writing in terms of product of two factors. So 8x plus 8y, you can make it as 8 times x plus y. So as you say, it's a product of 8 and the product of 8 and x plus y. So it's a product of two factors. So I write 8 parentheses x plus y, and let's do maybe number 17 together. I see that 12, 18, and negative 30 or negative 12, negative 18, and negative 30, they all have 6 as a common factor. But I can factor out negative 6 to make the number a little bit more clear. You can actually factor positive 6 out, but it shouldn't make a difference. So I will factor positive 6 second and negative 6 first. So the answer will be 2. Oh, I can also factor. I forgot about the variables. So there's a squared, ab squared, c, a squared, b, c, ab, and ab cubed, and c cubed. So I definitely see that a, b, c is a common factor. So if you take a, b, c out, you left over with the terms left with 2b minus 3ac plus 5b squared c squared. If you're not sure about the sign, why this is negative and that's positive, redistribute it and confirm it. So, you can check the checking part on your own. If you factor positive 6abc out, answer would have been negative 2b plus 3ac minus 5b squared c squared. So you try the rest, 12 through 18.